Almost done here. Last thing we're going to do is enter in a SmartArt graphic. More specifically, what we'll look at is how we insert, add text to, delete shapes from, and just kind of give our SmartArt some visual appeal. So what is a SmartArt first off? Well, we could take something ordinary like a bulleted list here, and sometimes something like that isn't as visually appealing. It's maybe a little bit easier to add some color and just some different shapes or styles to a graphic. Now, we can choose from several different SmartArt graphics, which you're going to learn a little bit later on in the year, but for the time being, the SmartArt graphic that we're going to create in this video is going to wrap up and provide information about day 1 and day 2 for the orientation and registration student schedule for this college that we are working on. Here's what I'll have you do. Go ahead and put your mouse after the word accordingly in that last paragraph, and we're going to hit the enter button 2 times. Okay, and then to put in a SmartArt graphic, as we do with images and tables, and pretty much anytime we want to put something into a Word document, we're going to go up to the Insert tab, and in the Illustrations group, you will see SmartArt. Okay, from there, you can see a list of SmartArt categories, and on the right-hand side, it'll give you a preview with a little description of what that SmartArt graphic is about. As I mentioned, we'll get into this a little bit more towards second semester, but for the time being, we are going to show a list of items that students will be doing on day 1 and day 2. So the one that we're going to choose is group list. If you keep your mouse over it, it's going to give you the name of it. All right, looks like this. It has 3 columns. Some different colors in there. So go ahead and hit OK. Okay, and you're going to see a SmartArt graphic appear. Now, as you saw in our example, we do not need all 3 columns. We really only need 2 columns in this SmartArt graphic. So we can delete things out of a SmartArt graphic a couple ways. Number 1, I can click on a shape that I don't need and just hit the delete button on my keyboard, which is next to the numlock. All right, the other thing I can do is if I open this little pane here, I can just hit the backspace button a couple times. Okay, now I only have 2 columns. So we'll put some text in. The first thing I'm going to put in there is day 1. Okay, now if I were to hit enter, I'm going to, so I can put in text in my graphic one of 2 ways. Number 1 is I can just simply type in the area in which I want to put the text in. So on this one, we'll put in day 1. The other option that I have is to use this little pane on the left-hand side. And I'm going to click on the 3rd bullet point. You can see that they're in different levels. This is our title. We're going to put in day 2 here. Okay. Now, I don't want you to type anything, but as you see, if I want to enter in more, if I want to go beyond 2 bullet points, which you'll notice that we do here, all I need to do in order to do that is just hit the enter button, and I can continue to type in more text. Okay. Now the text that we need is going to be found in that document that we just opened. So I'd like you to, just for the sake of time, go ahead and go into that Module 3 text, page 2, and under day 1, we are going to copy and paste all of the bullet points. So I'll hit Control-C on my keyboard. Go back to my document, and right up at that bullet point there, I'm going to hit Control-V to paste that in. Okay. Make sure you don't have an extra or blank bullet. So we'll just go ahead and delete that a little bit. I'm just going to do the same thing for day number 2. So we'll copy this text, Control-C, back into our document. I'm going to hit backspace on these a couple times. Alright, so it should look something like this. If for whatever reason you got extra bullet points, say you have an extra column that came over, you can see how the bullets are on a different list. You can promote and demote bullets up in the Create Graphic group. But it should look exactly as you see on your screen. Okay, now it's time to give this thing a little color, so we're going to change the colors of the SmartArt graphic. As with anything we insert, we have new tabs. This is SmartArt Tools. One's going to change the design. The other's going to change the overall look and feel. Under the Design tab, under where it says Change Colors, we're going to click on that little drop-down arrow. And the one that we're going to select is this Colorful Accent Colors. Okay, we're also going to apply a style, just as we can do with shapes. How we apply a SmartArt style is from this list under the SmartArt Styles group. If we don't have all the options that we need, I'll click the More Options button. And the one that we are going to select here is the Subtle Effect. Okay, so that is the third option in the first row. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit so I can see 2 pages. Probably gonna have to get to about 40 or 50%. And we're just gonna drag the corner of this a little bit so it kind of matches that box that we have around our orientation and student schedule. So should look something like you see on your screen there. If you have any questions about that, call me over.